So I'm here with Joe Blumenow, a developer who's going to introduce himself briefly in 30 seconds.
Okay, I am Joe Blumenow and I have developed a nice brand new application for all about Windows Phone, a universal application.
Which is the very thing that Rafe and I were saying wasn't probably needed because
Yes,
the website worked so well on Edge. So what's your rationale behind this
my
application?
rationale, I suppose, really, predominantly at the time, was just to dip my toe into the universal Windows development. And I thought, what better way to start than just dabbling with a all about Windows Phone application. So that's what I've tried to do.
And if this sounds a tiny bit noddy, then it's not, because the application is stunning. So Joe's now going to hold up his phone and launch
So
into the All About Windows
here
Phone.
we have my lovely 950, and what we're going to do is we've got my the new All About Windows Phone application loading up now, and here we go. And it's fully responsive, so it will respond to the size of your screen.
Ooh.
And you can even zoom in and out and use
I did not know that.
use all of the very funky features and view any of the articles that you like. So let's have a little look to see what we've got.
Does it have a hamburger menu?
It does have a hamburger menu, yes. So I tried to incorporate the All About Windows Phone logo into there just to try and make it a bit different.
Yeah.
But it works just like any hamburger menu will. You have your latest feeds, flow, news, reviews, features, and I've just introduced a little concept of being able to favorite some articles just so you can get back to them quickly.
Okay. Okay, and how ready is it?
So,
ready for release?
It is. I feel as though it's pretty ready. We've been using it now for, well, I've certainly been using it for a few weeks and just ironing out a few gremlins. And Steve and Rafe have also had a chance to have a little play, and so far it seems to have their approval. So, yeah. So it's pretty ready to go, I would say, at least at its initial release, and it'll be good just to get the wider community to have a look and see what they think and any feedback.
Yeah, there are a few debug options in the app, which presumably you'll take out over the next version or two.
Yes, it's just been quite useful just to be able to, especially on different devices that aren't necessarily development devices, that I could just test a few different things. And invariably, there's often a problem with article rendering, so it's been quite a useful feature just to be able to iron out some of these wrinkles.
Yeah, there are a few issues with the back-end feeds, which are entirely down to us, but we're going to fix those and hopefully get this released within a week or so of this video.
Yeah, all being well, all being well. It's pretty much ready to go. We've just got a few loose ends to tidy up.
What are the main benefits of using an application rather than just using the mobile rendered website, which already is pretty good?
It is, and it's actually a lot better on Windows 10. But it's quite interesting, and I thought it was quite interesting what you both Steve and Rafe were saying on the one of the last podcasts about how it does work quite well on the web, and I think that's very true. But I was listening to that podcast, and Steve and Rafe hadn't known about that at that time, of how far I got, and I was actually pleasantly pleased with myself with a big grin as I was driving along listening to the podcast, thinking, well, actually, certain features, like I know tables are always a bugbear on the website. Other features, like perhaps the image comparison, which has become quite legendary now with these comparison and photo photo articles, or camera articles, should I say. So I was determined when I was building this that even though I was just dipping my toe, I didn't want to just create a very boring web wrapper type application, and I wanted to just try and add something to be useful. And so I was determined to make sure that tables try to rendered natively and as much of the article as possible, and most importantly, things like the image comparer as well, which I can show you now.
Okay, yeah.
Perhaps let's just show you quickly.
Yes,
yeah. No, it will have confidence. So let's have a look at the comparison that Steve did with the OnePlus 3 just yesterday.
Yes.
I think this is the one with the comparison.
So load up over Wi-Fi, but it'll take a few seconds. But it will on a desktop. So
yes, that's right. Yeah, it's loading. So as you can see, you've got all the links as well in the article, so everything should be in the right place. Images load in place as well. And as we go down, I do find it quite funny that we've obviously still got Steve's warning about it might not look so good on Windows.
But they're not always old hands reading this site.
Yeah, absolutely. But anyway, so here we go. So we've got an image comparer here. So straight in the article, you can actually just be a bit more steadied hand here. You can compare there and then, and what you can do, I've added you can kind of view it full screen. So now you can actually you can really compare, and you can zoom in. There's some kind of I've got some little issues that I need to iron out where I've got this problem where I can't zoom. So I've got this concept where you can actually lock the page. I can now zoom in to any part that I want.
Well, zooming in the interactive comparator,
And
that
then,
really
and
is
then you
fancy.
compare. So for those of you that really like to get to the pixel level, is your opportunity to do so, basically.
Without having to even download the full images and compare later. Very good.
Absolutely, yes, yes. So I've tried to maintain that as much as possible because I think it would only, having these things would make it a worthwhile application. I did kind of say to myself when I did get a bit disheartened at some points, thinking, how in the heck am I going to actually do these things? Thinking if I can't do it, I'm not sure it's going to be viable. But you chip away at these things and slowly but surely you end up with something that works. So
oh, thank you very much. That's really impressive. And of course, the application will be free to all readers. We're not going to even the adverts, I guess, are part of the site, and they do appear on some articles. But now that's part of.
There's no adverts on. There should be no adverts on the actual articles because this will get stripped down. I mean, there's a lot of there's heavy screen scraping going on, basically, or web scrapping. But on the comments, we do have some articles. There's not much we can do about that. But so the articles, is a web wrapper, but that's really just down to the logistics of the fact of not having access to comment APIs and bits and pieces, and maybe one day that's something that we can improve upon. But
we don't mind the odd advert because they do probably pay the bills at the end of the day. So I'm sure Rafe would like it if everyone watching this would actually click on a few adverts just to help Rafe pay his mortgage.
Absolutely, and I was very conscious of the fact that I am using your content, and you quite rightly should be paid for your good work. So yes, I had no reason to remove them.
Okay, unless you're using the Lumia 950, that's your preferred Windows?
It is indeed, yes. Nice. I do have a 640 as well, which is really my glorified sat nav, to be honest with you. It's quite useful because this is a device. It's not a dev device, although it is on Redstone. It's got the latest build of Redstone, and I do actually have the application running on here, which I updated last night, and it's got the update already. So here it is working. And actually, this is quite a good test because it just shows you this phone isn't on Steve's Wi-Fi. So we can actually see, because there's no SIM card on here, so I have no. So you can see how it has actually loaded up. It's all been cached.
Brilliant.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so when someone actually does connect and they're online, it will check for new content and just build that on top of the existing.
Correct.
What about when does that cache expire?
At the moment, I have some crude settings. It's all very version 1 sort of stuff, and it will be improved, and hopefully there'll be some good feedback from the wider community. For now, I have just put some very basic settings. You can, of course, change your theme, by the way. So for those of you that would rather a light, but I know most of you will probably want the dark theme. However, sorry, there is a cache expiry time, just very crude at the moment. You can enter, I have added a little slider bar, but you can actually enter any number you want in minutes, and that's how long it will keep the data for before it will force itself to try again.
Okay, how can people get in touch with you? Perhaps on Twitter or any other social media?
Yes, I will. I'll add that to the app. Might be the best thing to do. And I've got my contact details and email address on there as well. So feel free to get in touch, and I will try and be as active as I can on the comments as well on the site, if and when Steve puts his page up about the new app.
And if anyone wants to buy Joe a beer, they can get in touch by social media and either buy him a virtual pint of beer or a real pint of beer.
Yeah, absolutely. Feel free. Yes, won't mind that at all.
Thanks, Joe.
No problem. Thank you. Enjoy.